Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball, the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers of the drawing on January 31st, 2018. I have 7 strategies with my game Decoding the Powerball. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, what you're looking at is what I call the game card. This represents all 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 17, 21, 26, 47, and 54. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And then I take the last 3 drawings of numbers and I transfer these numbers over to the game card as red numbers. Then I do the same thing with orange and green, blue, and purple. I have 5 different colors, one to represent each one of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So for this drawing here, I have 13 red numbers, 15 orange, 15 green, 14 blue, and 12 purple numbers. Okay, so over here to the far right, this 198, this represents how many color code drawings I kept track of so far. And out of this 198, 105 drawings have come up a 3-color combination. 73 drawings have come up a 4-color combination. 17 drawings have come up a 2-color combination, and only 3 times out of 198 drawings have all 5 colors come up. And never has it been just 1 color. Okay, this number right here, this number 2, this tells me how many colors just came up in the last drawing. So you can see that there was 3 blue numbers and 2 red numbers, for a total of 2 colors. Okay, so since hardly ever do all 5 colors come up together, the strategy is try to guess which one of these colors won't be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that no blue numbers will be coming up. And the reason why is because blue just had 3 numbers come up in the last drawing. And when I look at this point down to this point, I just see a lot of blue. So I just think that it's due to miss. Okay, so again, I'm going to guess that no blue numbers will be coming up. So I'm going to eliminate these blue numbers off of the game card. Okay, so to speed things up, I'm just going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far with no blue numbers to it. So when I block out a number like this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm taking $3 and I'm buying a Powerball ticket with the Power Play. Okay, so I'm betting $3 that none of these blue numbers will come up. Okay, so if I'm correct with my pick and none of these blue numbers come up in the lottery, then I'm 1 step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. And how this works is up at the very top is the master for all the numbers. Okay, and over to the side here, the right side, you can see these are the numbers that just came up in the lottery. Again, it was 17, 21, 26, 47, and 54. Okay, so that was a 4-group combination. Okay, so I'm just going to reduce this down so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so you're going to see that there's 7 groups here. Okay, group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9. And then it's the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, for 7 groups total. Okay, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 2 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how this works is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings. And I like to break things down into 5 because it shows me a majority of things. But here, I like to break it down into 5 because I like to see how many hits there were in this group of 5 drawings within this group of numbers. Okay, so my theory is that if there's been a bunch of hits within these 5 drawings, then maybe the next 5 drawings won't have so many hits, or vice versa. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm looking at the 50 numbers here. Okay, so as I go back in the history, you can see that there was a lot of hits here. Okay, within these group of 5 drawings. Okay, so I'm looking at it, and this is like very condensed here. Okay, so I just think that things are going to be a little bit more sporadic in the future, like over here. Okay, so I'm going to guess that no 50 numbers will be coming up in this drawing. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate the 50 numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm just going to blow this back up. I'm going to go to the game card. I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Again, with no blue numbers from the color code, and now no 50 numbers from the individual numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing is I made that bet that no blue numbers will come up. Now I'm going to parlay that bet with no 50 numbers coming up. Okay, so I'm going to make a bunch of parlays here. And I'm going to whittle down the numbers this way. Okay, so less numbers to choose from equals a better chance at me getting the 5 white Powerballs correct. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 3, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all the numbers and I divided it into 4 different groups and put colors to these groups. Okay, so when the Powerballs land within these groups, I record where they land and how many down here in the stats. Okay, so this is for the red, the blue, the orange, and the green. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards, and they all kind of look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so you can see option card number 1 compared to option card number 2 over here, how they're different. But they still kind of look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers were 17, 21, 26, 47, and 54. Okay, so the 17 and 26 were in the red, so I recorded it down here as 2. The 21 is in the blue, so I recorded it right down here. And the 47 and 54 are down here in the green, so I recorded 2 down here. Okay, so there was no winning Powerballs in the orange. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so if I could have correctly guessed that none of these orange numbers were going to come up in the lottery, then I could eliminate these numbers and really reduce the numbers that I have to choose from. Okay, so how this works too is that you can see that 68, okay, this shares the square with the 58. Okay, so if I want to eliminate these numbers here, I'm going to eliminate the 58 and the 68 as a group. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, you can see that the 58 is off to the side. Okay, and why I do this is because of the color code. Okay, so why I don't have the 58 crammed in with the 68 here is because I need some separation. Like here, the 25 and the 65 share this square here. Okay, so you can see the 25 is orange and the 65 is purple. So if I decided to get rid of all the purple numbers, I would have got rid of the 65, but the 25 still would have been in play. But if I wanted to get rid of this whole square of numbers, I would have eliminated the 25 and the 65 at the same time as a group. Okay, so all I'm doing here is keeping track of groups of numbers and trying to predict whether they're going to come up or not come up in the lottery. Okay, so as I go back to group 1, My first pick on where the zeros are going to come up is option card number 7, no green numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this is because you can see this single zero here. Okay, every once in a while you can see that it doubles up, 2 zeros in a row. So as I go back in the history, you can see that there's a lot of single zeros here. So I just think that it's due to double up like this. So I'm going to predict that there's going to be a 0 right here. So I don't think that any of these green numbers are going to come up in the lottery. So I'm going to eliminate these green numbers off of the game card. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I'm going to break this down step by step so you can see where maybe I make a mistake. Okay, so maybe there was a number that's going to come up in that green area. You can say, okay, well, this is where he messed up. Okay, so he shouldn't have eliminated that group of numbers or whatnot. Okay, so I like to break things down step by step so you can see exactly what's going on. And I like to do this so in case you want to play my game yourself to pick your own numbers, you can see exactly how to play. Okay, so down here below you can see group 1, option card number 7, no green numbers. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 1, and my next pick is going to be option card number 9, no green numbers. Okay, so I keep track of all these color groups as a whole, okay, for all 15 option cards. And I just think that green is going to have a lot of misses to it. So I'm going to just pick green today. Okay, so again, I don't think that any of these green numbers are going to come up. And the reason why is the same as the last time is I just think that this is going to double up here. Okay, so you can see that there's a couple of single zeros in a row. So I just think that it's due to double up. So I don't think any of these green numbers will be coming up in the lottery. So I'm going to eliminate these green numbers off of the game card. So I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so one more pick. And I'm going to go with option card number 14, no green numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this one is 2 reasons. One of these green numbers have come up in the last 15 drawings in a row. Okay, and 2, this number up here, this represents how many blue marks there is in this column. Okay, so in this column there's 53, in this column there's 58, in this column there's 68, and in the green column there's only 43. Okay, so I just think that this is due to have a 0. Okay, so I don't think any of these green numbers will be coming up in the lottery. So I'm going to eliminate these green numbers off of the game card. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so if I'm correct with all my picks and none of those numbers come up, then the 5 white winning numbers will be within these colored numbers that are still on the board. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So 3 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how this works is I'm just going to blow this up a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to point out this red area right here. Okay, so this is the stats for the red. Now, I have 15 of these option cards as well, and they all kind of look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other, from each different option card. Okay, so here I like to break things down in the fives so I can see a majority of things. Okay, so if there's, you could see this 0, that means that none of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed within this red area. And of course, this 2 means that 2 out of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed within this red area. Okay, so again, I like to break things down in the 5 to see the majority. Okay, so if there's 3 or more zeros, I color this blue for cold. And if there's 3 or more hits, I color it red for hot. Okay, so as I go through the history of things, okay, if something has been really hot, well, eventually it's going to turn cold. Okay, because that's how random works. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that no red numbers will be coming up. Okay, and the reason why is because it did get really hot here, and now I just think that it's going to turn cold. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this down a little bit. I'm going to go back to the game card. I'm going to scroll down, and down underneath you can see group 2, option card number 1, no red numbers. Okay, so you can see that there's no red numbers here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2, and my next pick is going to be option card number 2, no red numbers. Okay, so I think that there's going to be a lot of red misses within these 15 option cards. Okay, so here's the stats for the red, and as I go down, you can see that it's been kind of 50-50 as far as hot and cold. Okay, now the reason why I'm picking this one is because of this pattern right here of miss, hit, miss, hit, miss, hit, miss, hit, miss. Okay, so that doesn't happen very often where it goes through that pattern of where it's kind of equal. Okay, of miss, hit, miss, hit, miss, hit, miss, hit, miss. Okay, so to me that's very balanced in a very unbalanced world like the lottery. I don't think it's going to stay very balanced for very long. Okay, so I'm just going to guess that this is going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so that means that none of these red numbers will be coming up if I'm correct. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate whatever's left of these red numbers off of the game card. Okay, so you can see it's the 2, 3, and 7, so I'm going to scroll to the left now. Okay, so you can see that all those numbers are gone. Okay, so if I'm correct with my pick, then none of those numbers will be coming up. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2, and my next pick is option card number 3, no red numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the red, and as I go down in the history, you can see that things got really, really hot, and now I think it's going to go on a cold streak. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate these red numbers off of the game card. So I'm going to scroll to the right, and this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2 for one last pick, and that's option card number 6, no gray numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for gray, and as I go through, you can see things got kind of hot through here. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this one is because this has hit 9 consecutive drawings in a row. Okay, so here's 2, and then 5, and then 2 more for 9. So I just think there's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate these gray numbers off of the game card. Okay, and that includes the 26. So as I scroll over, you can see that 26 is gone. Okay, so that's all that I'm going to take off of the game card. Okay, I'm done eliminating numbers here. Okay, so I started off with 69 numbers, and now I'm down to 6 numbers. Okay, so to help me pinpoint what the 5 numbers will be coming up, I'm going to turn to the next strategy. Strategy number 5, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So there's going to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. Okay, so I like to keep track of that and try to guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so how this works is this 242. This is how many drawings I kept track of so far, and that's since October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so out of this 242 drawings, 121 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers, and 121 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so for this drawing here, since there was 2 drawings in a row for the odds, I'm just going to guess that the majority will be even numbers for this drawing. Okay, so as I go through, this one doesn't really matter because there's only 2 in the low and 4 in the high here. So automatically I think it's going to be high. And over here, there's no numbers left on the board, so I got to believe that the majority will be over here to the right. And then I have this red and blue, and I got more numbers here in the red, so I got to believe that the majority will be to the red. Okay, so one last thing I want to show you here is this is what I have for the Powerball number itself. Okay, so this is that red number. Okay, so there's 26 red numbers here in the Powerball lottery. Okay, so this column is being broke down to low numbers and high numbers. Okay, so a blue number means that it's 1 to 13. Okay, a low number. And red means that it's high, 14 to 26. Okay, so you can see that the 7 is blue and the 21 is red. Okay, so over here in this column, red means that it's odds and blue means that it's an even number. Okay, so as I look through things, and this green means that it doubled up. Okay, so down here you can see this green, and you can see that the 12 repeated itself. Okay, so looking at this, for some reason, I think because this was so sporadic down here in the red, I think that this is going to go on a little run. So I think that this is going to be red as well. Okay, and I think that this is going to double up on the blue. So I think the Powerball number will be a low odd number. Okay, so we'll see what happens with that. So as I go back to the game card, for the 50-50 picks, the only one that I could really pick is that I thought there was going to be more even numbers than odd numbers. Okay, so I just wrote that down here. Okay, more even than odd. Okay, so going to the next strategy. Strategy number 6, picking the numbers I hope will hit from groups 1 and 2 now. Okay, so I'm just going to go back through the system and try to figure out what numbers will be coming up now. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, or actually I'm going to go to group 2, I'm just going to pick from group 2 today. Okay, so as I go back to the number 1 card here, again, I have 15 of these cards, and they all have red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, so I have 15 of these red areas, 15 of the blue, and so on. Okay, so I keep track of that here. Okay, I call it the Group 2 overview. Okay, so this is the Group 2 overview right here. Okay, so this is the red areas, and you can see that the last drawing in all the red areas had 8 hits and 7 misses, okay, for a total of 15. Okay, so the magic number here is 8. It's right in the middle of 15. Okay, so if there's 8 or more hits, I color this red for hot. If there's 8 or more misses, I color it blue for cold. Okay, so that way it helps me able to predict what's going to be hot and cold as a group. Okay, so for this green area right here, this has been the record so far of 8 drawings in a row of either hot or cold. Okay, so you can see over here, this gray area, this had 8 too. Okay, And as I go back in the history, the longest one has been 8. Okay, so I just got to believe that this is going to be red up here. Okay, so I think there's going to be a lot of hits in green. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, I'm going to scroll to the right here. Okay, so basically what I did here is this represents option card number 1. So as I go to group 2, option card number 1, here in the green, you can see that there's no hits on the game card. Okay, and here in option card number 2, the only one left is the 30. Okay, so as I go back, again, this represents option card number 1. There was nothing there, and then option card number 2, there was the 30. Okay, so I did that with all 15 option cards, and these are the numbers that were left in the green area. Okay, so now I just got to go through and decide which ones I want to take. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy, the final strategy, strategy number 7, picking my numbers. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, I'm going to scroll over to the right, and the numbers that I'm going to go with for this drawing are the 13, 30, 38, 40, and 63. Okay, so picking this combination of numbers here, this is going to give me 13 hits and 2 misses. Okay, so I'm just going to color this up here. Okay, so this 13-2, as I go back to the group 2 overview, I think that this is going to be 13 right here to the left side. Okay, and I think that this will be the 2. Okay, and that will be a total of 15, of course. Okay, so we'll see what happens with that. And again, the numbers that I'm going to go with for this drawing are the 13, 30, 38, 40, and 63. Okay, folks, I appreciate you watching. If you like my content on this video, please go to my Patreon page. That's www.patreon.com/decoding the Powerball. Okay, or if you like, you could email me personally at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Again, that's decodingpowerball@gmail.com. All right, folks, again, I really appreciate you watching. If you like the channel, please subscribe. And as always, best of luck with your picks.